Hi friend, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a raspberry jam that is so simple. I'll be using Pomona's Pectin in my recipe, and I will guide you along step by step in how to make it. I really think that making homemade jam is one of the simplest ways to get into canning. If you've never canned before, don't be intimidated, because in reality it's not very hard. And if you give it a try, you will be so happy that you did. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we'll get started here by washing out our jars. I always wash up more jars than what I think I need. Okay, so I've prepped all of my ingredients here. The ingredients that are going into the jam is Pomona's Pectin. That'll be the type of pectin that I'll use to make the jam. And then I have my sugar measured out and my water for the calcium water that we'll need. I have 8 cups of raspberries, and this is considered a double batch. And then I have the tools here that I'll use. I have my jars washed and cleaned. I have my pot here ready to boil my raspberries. And then I have a large stock pot here that I'll be using to open kettle can my raspberries. I have the water in the pot. I kind of guess on how much water I think it'll take. Typically, I usually have to top it off with hot water after I get my jars in. But I just start with a certain amount, get it hot, and get it ready. So the first thing I'll do is get that pot turned on. And I'll just turn it on low because it'll take me a little while to get the raspberries in the jar. So the next step will be to get the packet of calcium out of here. And this is the calcium powder. We'll tear this open. And it calls for a half a teaspoon of calcium to go into a half a cup of water. So I'll stir this together, make sure it's dissolved good, and then we'll set that aside for a minute. I always write notes on my instructions every time I make jam. It just helps me to remember the different things that I did. And so I always keep this paper and put it in the new boxes that I get. So now we'll get our raspberries in here. These came out of my freezer. I'm wanting to use up all of my raspberries from last year because I want all fresh raspberries going in, and our raspberries are starting now. When I froze these raspberries, I didn't mash them up because they fall apart whenever you're doing this part anyhow. So with all the stirring and the heating, it'll all be mashed. Also, one thing to keep in mind, if you don't like seeds, you will want to strain these out. I love the seeds in the jam because it just adds a nice texture to it, but there's a lot of people that don't. So you'll want to turn this into a juice if you don't like the seeds. So it calls for 2 teaspoons of the calcium water that we just made. And I'm going to be putting in 4 because it's a double batch. I'm going to get this turned on now because it can be warming up while I'm adding these ingredients. I'll turn it on medium-high for now. So we're just going to keep stirring this and keeping an eye on it, and we want it to come to a full boil. So the recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of pectin per batch. And again, I am doing a double, so I need 4. And you're going to mix this pectin in with your sugar. And we'll put our sugar and pectin mixture in here. And while this is getting hot, I'm going to move my attention over here to the jars. I had some hot water up, and I'm going to pour it on it slowly because I don't want to bust my jars. Once you get a little bit in there, you don't have to worry quite as much. This water was boiling, it's not anymore, but it'll be warm enough to temper the glass. The problem with putting hot ingredients inside of a cold jar is that they will shatter. So if I was to put that hot jam inside of these jars, it could very easily shatter the jar. I've had that happen before. I have my lids and my rings back there ready to use once the jam is ready. And I also have this funnel. These funnels are nice because you can see the measurement for the head space on here. All right, it's returned to a boil, so I'm going to turn this off. and get ready to fill our jars. You'll want to get your pan over here as close as you can so that you're not dribbling the sauce all over. And we'll fill this jar up to within 1/4 of an inch from the top. Sometimes I keep it down a little bit further than that. I just don't want to take a chance on it being over full. The nice thing about this spoon is it has these pour edges on them. It makes it easier. All 3 corners you can pour out of. And it holds quite a large quantity. Whoops. And I did that one a little bit too full, so I'll take a spoon later and take some of that out. I'm using 1/2 pint jars. Oops, oh, I really filled that one too full. I have a one-track mind. I get talking, and I like the 1/2 pint jars for gifting. They make a really nice size. If I have any left, there's not enough for a jar, I just put it in a jar and I put it in our refrigerator, and that's what we eat on. Try to get the last of this in here. So this one's not full, so that will go in our refrigerator. Actually, once I take out some of these overfilled ones, I might get enough to go ahead and can that jar up. I think I might. Yeah, there, that worked out good. So now I will wipe the edges of the rims, and if you see any off to the side, get that too. Typically I go through and wipe them once to get the worst of it off, and then I come back and wipe it again. I just want to make sure I don't have any left on there, because your lids won't seal like they should if there's anything on there. I'm going to wash my rag out and wipe them again. Some people use vinegar to wipe this edge off, and it's probably a good idea. I typically don't. If I'm doing something like chicken broth, I might use it then because of the oil. You can't see that, whereas I can see with this jam if there's any on my rag. I know that it wasn't clean enough, but the oils, you can't always see that, so I will typically use vinegar for something like that. All right, now we'll get the lids on these. Years ago we used to boil our lids. They have decided that it's not a necessary step anymore. Feel free to, if you've always done that and you feel comfortable with it. It took me a little bit to decide if I was going to quit, but I've not done it in a couple years, and I have a pretty good success rate with my thing sealing, so I think I'm convinced that it's not necessary. Get these rings on here. I'll just kind of set them on there and then I'll tighten them up. Okay, I'll pull this out and have a towel or something under it, and then I'll tighten down this ring here, but I will only do it with 2 fingers. I don't want to over tighten this ring. So you just tighten it to where it's snug, but it's not too tight. All right, let's get this over here into the hot water. And my water is not to a rolling boil, which is good. I think it'd be fine if it was. Then I'll tighten down the rest of these and get them in the water too. Well, that worked out perfectly. I was able to get 10 half pints in here. I think I could fit another. I need to actually write this down somewhere so I can remember how many half pints and how many pints will fit in the smaller canner. Usually I use a bigger canner. I'm glad that they all fit in here. And now I need to add a little extra water. As you can see, it does not cover the jars. So I'm going to add enough so that it covers the lids. And this only has to boil for 10 minutes. So I'm not too concerned about putting too much above it because it's not going to all boil away anyhow. If I was doing an open kettle for a lot longer, I might want to add a little extra water, but I feel like that's a good amount. So I'm going to let this come to a boil and boil it for 10 minutes. And then they'll be ready to come off. So I'll get the lid on here to help it come to a boil quicker. Okay, so they're at a boil, so I set the timer for 10 minutes. One thing I forgot to mention is that some people put a trivet down here in the bottom. under the jars, and that would probably be the proper way to do it, but I don't have a trivet for this pan. All right, it's beeping. Let's get that off. And then let's turn this burner off, and we'll remove the lid, and we're gonna let this sit here and cool off just a little bit for 5 minutes before we take the jars out of the pot. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Let's get these jars out of the water bath. I'm gonna move this pot over here a little closer because otherwise I'm trailing water across my stove. Hear that popping sound? I love to hear that. That means they're sealing. One thing I used to do that I try to remember not to do anymore is when you're taking it out, there's water on the lid. I would turn it a little bit to drain that off. Don't do that because you take a chance on that jam getting up under your lid, and we don't want that to happen. I'd never really thought about that before, and I don't know if I was reading it or watching somebody can and they mentioned that. And there is our 10 half pints of raspberry jam. So at this point, we're going to let these sit here and cool for about 24 hours. And then we will pull off the rings, and then I'll lift each jar by the lid and make sure that it's secured on there properly, and then we'll know that it has sealed. All right, I have a piece of my homemade sourdough toast here. And I'll put some jam on this. Well, there you have it. We have our homemade jam. So now it's time to give this jam a try. What a burst of flavor. You can really taste the raspberries, and you can tell that they are very ripe. That is one key to having really good jam, is to have very ripe fruit. When I picked these came out of our garden. I made sure that they were a deep red color, more like a maroon, because I wanted to make sure that they had the most flavor possible. I've had a lot of raspberry jam and it's all pretty good. But when you make it with really ripe berries, it just takes it over the top. So if you're buying your raspberries, just try to get some that are as ripe as possible. So I hope that this inspired you to try making raspberry jam. If you give it a try, I would love to hear what your thoughts are on it. There's many different methods that you can use. There's different kinds of pectin out there, different brands. And the reason I chose Pomona's pectin is because you can use lower sugar if you want. And I feel that it's a healthier alternative than some of them. But either way, no matter what way you decide, it is so rewarding. I hope that you are doing great. May you have a blessed day. Bye for now.